Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fifth episode of Beyond Vision. Beyond Vision is a talk show initiated by viAct to propagate the knowledge on artificial intelligence. And this is Barnali Sharma, Product and Growth Specialist at viAct Hong Kong, who is the host of this episode. In connection with the previous episodes, today we have with us another expert who is specialized in construction digitalization at Autodesk. I would like to welcome Ms. Anna to today's episode. Welcome, Ms. Anna.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to join.
Okay, so before starting the question and answer series, I would request you to please share a little bit about yourself, your profession, and your educational background.
Definitely. I work at Autodesk, as you said earlier. I'm based in Seattle, Washington. I've been at Autodesk for about 2 years. And then previously spent most of my earlier career in earlier stage startups. And then before that, I got my initial degree in business from St. Mary's University in California. In my time at Autodesk, I've focused exclusively on our construction products, working in our construction division. And my role is to work with our integration partners to help them build connected workflows, help customers adopt these integrated workflows, and really helping drive, as you were saying, digitalization in construction.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the introduction. So now we head on to the question and answer series of this episode. And my first question for you would be, digital twin, as we know, is a hot topic these days. So what do you think? How is this digital twin like helping the construction industry to transform into a more digitized one?
Yeah, definitely. And there was a time when I think about digital twins where historically even using 3D models wasn't considered common or was considered very modern tech. And now it's a really common and very impactful tool to help people visualize a building before construction. They can use those 3D models to identify issues or clashes between, MEP or structural elements of a building. They can use it to drive collaboration between owners and architects and GCs and other project stakeholders. And then there's an abundance of technology that's now been built on top of and built exclusively for 3D models, helping analyze and optimize those models, connect inventory data, or analyze quantities to help with procurement. And all of this, I think, is really just up-leveled and enhanced by the modern digital twin trends. Now, historically, you've always been really able to model out and see that building in a digital environment before beginning construction. But now you can continue to let that building live on in its digital format and integrate things like IoT sensor data to help with safety and maintenance issues, identifying preventative maintenance, getting in front of those issues before they happen. And so I think historically we've been able to use digital models to really improve pre-construction design phases. And more, the role of that digital model is going to live on for as long as your building lives on and onto the operations and maintenance of that building.
So, okay, so can we say that digital twin is the next big thing in the industry?
Pretty comfortably, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for your answer. So my next question would be, the COVID pandemic has changed the global working scenario. So what is the new norm in the construction industry today? And what do you foresee the post-COVID scenario from your experience with Autodesk?
Yeah. Companies in the last 2 years have been forced to find solutions for remote work. And I think it's really just spurred a lot of digitization in the construction industry. And I've seen a lot of executives and business owners that I work with be really surprised by how quickly their processes and people evolved and adjusted to these new ways of working. And I think change management is really one of the hardest parts of adopting technology. And this global pandemic spurred people into adopting new tools, whether they initially wanted to or saw the value, just as a way to maintain business continuity. And many of these companies have been pleasantly surprised by what that's done for productivity, what that's done for quality of work, what that's done to enhance collaboration and add context. And as companies continue to digitize and enable remote work, it means that you can also pull talent from anywhere in the world and let employees have flexibility they need to work, to manage their personal lives. And I think that that has really improved some of the challenges that construction companies have combating labor shortages. Suddenly we can offer more flexibility to the workforce. We can have more opportunity in where we find our talent from. And so I think that's kind of an unforeseen benefit that people saw out of the digitization that's come out of COVID-19.
Yeah, okay. So in line with the previous question, I would like to know that how has these changes actually impacted the regular working of the workers, both on site as well as in the offices?
Yeah. So folks who work in the office or sit at a desk have historically, managed and interacted with most of the technology that was purchased by construction companies. And that's just not the case anymore. Job sites are increasingly managing their connectivity and checking that connectivity right at the onset of a project. We're seeing more and more technology deployed to the field. It's no longer innovative to have a laptop in your job trailer, but really an imperative. And so I think technology designed specifically for the field is really rapidly evolving. A lot of that is due to the invention of the smartphone or the tablet. It's pretty common now to have your superintendent or a project manager have access to all their project data that they need while walking on the job site. If people need to collaborate with somebody back in the office, they can use photos, panoramas, videos, time-lapse photography, laser scanning, point clouds, and more. So all of this is really empowering decision makers who are in the office with the data and context that they need to make the right decisions and have the right information. And then people on the job site have this holistic view and insights onto what's going on with the project. They have real-time visibility into updates and changes made to plans and models. And so I think that being able to drive digitization in the field really dramatically enhances and up-levels collaboration between the field and the office.
Okay. So, do you observe any best practices that you have seen them to be successful while these teams adapt to these new norms?
Yeah, I think the biggest, and I alluded to it earlier when I was talking about the trends in construction, but I think the biggest challenge in adopting technology is change management. And so, finding ways to enhance and improve that change management process internally so that people can really take advantage of new trends and new things. And so some tips that I've seen to help kind of manage that change management and manage successful implementations of technology. One would be having very clear goals on the onset. If you don't understand what you're trying to accomplish, it's very hard to successfully accomplish it. And so you really need to know your stakeholders, understand not just, okay, leadership said we want to deploy some type of technology, but instead, hey, here's the challenges that my quality managers or my estimators are having. Here are the pain points that they're experiencing, and here's why that technology is going to help drive that solution. Similarly, especially if you're going to need to demonstrate the value of a project, make sure that you benchmark where you are before you kick off a net new project or idea. I think a lot of people, when they know they're not doing something well, are a little bit embarrassed to measure it. But if you measure it and you have those benchmark numbers, and then you have your technology deployment, you can much more easily compare the return on the investment that you made in technology there. But one other thing that I think is really important when you're talking about return on investment is recognizing that technology and the value of technology becomes exponential when it's deployed at scale. When you deploy one or two project sites, you have the ability to digitize those processes and enhance that collaboration like I talked about. But when you're standardizing and digitizing across all of your job sites, suddenly you can create norms of how you want people working based on the tools you're using. You can standardize your processes. Once it's standardized, it's much easier to have those benchmarks in place to compare and contrast, which sites are doing really, really well, which sites are struggling. Then you can really identify best practices and share those best practices and get that tribal knowledge sharing. And so although technology seems like a thing that's a tool, it's really a people issue, and it's a process issue. It's how are you using that technology? How are you interacting with it? And then I think my last piece of advice would be avoiding what I call pilot project purgatory. And that goes back to the fact that technology is more valuable when deployed at scale. But if you do lots of little experiments and projects, you might have some good ROI on individual projects. You might learn some cool things. But if you're not deploying it at scale, you're not standardizing, and you're not committing to a given technology, then you can waste some energy and waste some funds in ripping and replacing new tools to pilot out. But really kind of finding one that has a couple of successful projects and really committing to it and saying, we want to make this part of our company processes. And so I think that that's also a key aspect to successfully adopt these tools, whether you're in the field or in the office.
Okay. Thank you so much for your answer. And with this, we head towards the last question of this episode. And here I would like to have your opinion on how construction digitalization is actually promoting and enhancing the ESG initiatives. What are your views on it?
Yeah, ESG is really important. We've only got one planet, and studies show that, and projections show that by 2050, they're estimating there's going to be 10 billion people that live on this planet. That's 30% of our population that will increase in 30 years. And 75% of those people are projected to live in urban areas. And most of the infrastructure for that hasn't been built yet. So there's a huge demand on the construction industry. With a growing population, requires growing demand for houses, obviously, but also for infrastructure, for roads, for energy, for power grids. There's so much that will need to be built to support the growing population of this planet. And it is so important that we do that in a way that is, responsible in an ESG perspective. And so Autodesk, we constantly strive to ask ourselves and to ask our customers, how can we create more with less? Using less resources, creating less waste. One of the beautiful silver linings of the last 2 years is that we really were able to challenge assumptions that we had about what we actually need to be productive. More and more people work from home. We have less commuters and more digitalization. And that technology adoption will help construction companies identify project risks and minimize things like waste and rework. There are billions of tons of waste in the construction industry every year, and it is imperative that we identify where this waste occurs and improve those processes just to keep our planet healthy. And I think technology like that provided by Autodesk, like provided by viAct and other of our partners, really are the tools that companies need to improve their ESG, to improve their bottom line, and really help drive the needle forward there.
Okay, thank you so much for your valuable answers. And with this, we reach to the end of our episode. And I would like to thank Ms. Anna for giving us your valuable time and helping us know about the on-ground contribution of AI towards the evolvement of the construction industry. So I would like to thank you once again for being with us and sharing your valuable words. Thank you so much.
It was great. It was great to join. Good questions, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you so much. Okay, so if you like our video, please do share it in your network and do give your suggestions in the comment box below. So let's together revolutionize the construction industry beyond the vision. Thank you so much.